Hi, I'm Am Grabelny here with Steve from our developer tools team. Steve, you work specifically on .NET developer tools team.
Correct, yep.
And AWS is a great place to deploy .NET code.
Yep, we have a lot of tools.
We do. We got a lot of tools. We got a lot of deployment methods. What are some places that I can run my .NET
So we can
code?
deploy web applications to Elastic Beanstalk.
Okay.
We can deploy containerized applications to Elastic Container Service.
Sure.
Lambda compute functions to Lambda, obviously.
Right.
Yes, there's an awful lot there.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are a lot of tools to help us go and get that code up into AWS. We've got a VS Code extension. We've got tools to interact with VSTS, PowerShell tools. And what you're going to show us today, the VS Toolkit, right? We're going to go into Visual Studio and interact directly with services in AWS.
Yeah, so here I am inside Visual Studio, and this is Visual Studio 2017, and to install the toolkit, it's very simple. Just go to your tools, extension updates, online category, search AWS. You can install right from within Visual Studio.
You never have to leave.
You don't have to leave.
It's everyone's goal who uses Visual Studio. Never leave Visual Studio.
Now, when the toolkit comes up for the first time, it's going to ask you for credentials if you don't already have any.
Okay.
It's very easy. You can import a CSV file, or you can add extra credentials from the Explorer here. Now, the Explorer here is your central hub inside Visual Studio. It's surfacing a bunch of services that are of potential interest to a developer.
Right.
So we have EC2, for example, here. I can look at my EC2 instances, my VMs that are running. And in fact, one really cool feature that I like is that from within the toolkit, I can remote desktop directly into an EC2 instance.
Yeah, this is super cool.
Right, really quick. So if I need to log into one of those Elastic Beanstalk instances or any of my other deployment targets, I can just go straight in from the toolkit and just, do what I need to do.
Yeah, administer your server without leaving Visual Studio.
Without leaving Visual Studio. So the other things that we mentioned were obviously the deployment services. We mentioned Beanstalk, so I can have those surfaced inside my environment here. You can say I have a bunch of running web applications. I can go and look at the health of those. But let's focus on Lambda.
I love Lambda, so you've got my attention.
So from within the toolkit, we can create new projects. And on the C# tree here, we also support F#. You can see I've got Lambda project selected, Lambda 1. I'm not actually going to run this because I've already generated code. Right. But let's get to the initial part of the wizard where we select a blueprint. So these are like pre-canned templates for Lambda functions that do obviously different things. Detect image labels is the one that we're actually going to run. Okay, so what that's generated for me is a sample project that's going to do image recognition. Okay. So it's going to trigger when a new object is uploaded to Amazon S3. Sure. And it's going to use the image recognition service to inspect that image and then apply labels, the things that image recognition found, as tags on the S3 object. Oh, great. Okay? Great. So it's a very simple function. If you take a look at the code, you're down here, it's using, under the covers, it's using our SDK for .NET, for .NET Core, and you can see it's just responding to the event in Lambda, calling recognition, and then calling S3. Right, very, very simple. Now to deploy this, I can easily right-click from within the toolkit, publish to Lambda. Right. And we use the same gesture for publishing web applications to Elastic Beanstalk or containerized applications to Elastic Container Service.
You've got to love right-click
project.
deploy.
Got to love right-click. When you right-click, we just fill out the details in the wizard. The toolkit will take care of bundling up the application, sending it to Lambda, and getting it ready to run. When that's done, we get this view here where we're looking at our Lambda function that's been deployed. Right. Now, we obviously need an event source. We said this responds to events on an S3 object being uploaded. Yes. So through here, you can see I've actually wired up the S3 bucket that I want to be triggered, or to cause the triggering of the event. So let's go to my S3 bucket that I have here, which I've opened from the Explorer. And if I take this image of a puppy and just drop it into here, so we have drag and drop in the toolkit into an S3 bucket.
You just gradually blew my mind right there, where you just dragged and dropped right into Visual Studio. That's awesome.
And then go to logs, and if we refresh this view, we see there's the logs. The function is running, and it's found a bunch of labels. Okay, cool. Great. So what we should see now is back, we detected the puppy, yeah. So back on the object here, we can access S3 metadata as well from within the toolkit, and there are the tags that are applied to the object.
That's really impressive and very easy to get started and
super easy
and see the power immediately. So you can also go to aws.amazon.com/net to learn more about the tools, get some sample code, get some help running C#, F#, .NET workloads on AWS today. Yep. Thanks for joining me, Steve.
You're welcome. Thanks.